Good afternoon. It is April 28th, 2010, and today I want to go over two big issues in the news right now. I'm not going to get to financial reform quite yet. I hope to get to that in the next blog. But I want to tackle first the Arizona immigration law, which all of you I'm sure have heard of at this point and probably already formed an opinion. And there is a split in some ways in the libertarian community over how to handle this law. Judge Andrew Napolitano, who's a very strict constructionist, constitutionalist, and libertarian, has condemned it as unconstitutional. Other libertarians have said no, this is Arizona is within their state's right to enforce their own laws. So let's talk about this real quick. First of all, Arizona, of course, has passed a law saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it says if you have an encounter with a police officer, the police officer is within his right to ask for some sort of identification or proof of citizenship in the United States, or a green card or a work visa or something like that. If a citizen is here illegally, and it just so happens in Arizona most of those are from Mexico, then I believe deportation is in order. First of all, the main complaint against this is that it will lead to racial profiling. And believe me, if this meant that cops would go around and say, oh, there's a Mexican, let's go harass him and ask him for his ID and then deport him, I would be totally against that, because I'm against the police state. We should all be against the police state. That's not good. That's not the right way to conduct this. However, the bill specifically prohibits that type of targeting, and if I'm correct, it limits cops to only checking in if there's some sort of crime being committed, or if you're pulled over on the side of the road for some sort of infraction. The law does not allow, in fact, it bans cops from just picking a Mexican out and targeting that person. That wouldn't happen. If it did happen, I would be against that, because that's a police state, and we live in we're supposed to be living in a free society, and that would go against that. But the wording of the bill doesn't exactly say that, and in fact it would prohibit that. Is this racist? The Mexican government has called it racist. The Obama administration has called it racist. I mean, there's no doubt that there are people in Arizona who are racist against Mexicans. However, I believe that the vast majority of the people who support this bill in Arizona are not racist, have nothing against Mexicans as a people or as a culture. They're simply against new immigrants entering into their state and taking jobs away and committing crimes. There has been a lot of crime committed by drug dealers coming in from Mexico, these drug cartels, and it's created a problem. In fact, this entire bill was sparked from an event where a farmer in Arizona was murdered by an illegal immigrant who had trespassed on his property. So it's a huge problem over there. The federal government has done nothing to curtail illegal immigration. And of course, legal immigration is great. I love Hispanic culture. I love Hispanic food. I think it's great. I think Spanish is a beautiful language. I'm not against that at all. I believe legal immigrants who come into this country should have the right to speak Spanish if they want to. I mean, we don't have a national language, and I don't support a national language. So I think this goes beyond race. The original defense for illegal immigration, and I used to make this defense myself, before the economic crisis, was these people will work the jobs that Americans refuse to work. All right, that's all fine and good. But all of a sudden now, Americans want those jobs. We have high levels of unemployment. If you count the underemployed, and if you count all these unemployed people who are, or the people who have quit looking for jobs, the unemployment rate nears 20%. So Americans are more than willing to take these jobs. We don't need any more illegal immigrants in this country. I'm not saying we need mass deportations. Of course not. I don't support that. But, I mean, there is a sound argument can be made to enforce our immigration laws. Now, don't get me wrong. Theoretically, I agree with like the likes of Murray Rothbard and a lot of anarcho-capitalists in this libertarian utopia. And in that sort of utopia, there would be no such thing as borders, and we would live in a totally free society where people could go back and forth between countries and work. I mean, I support that as a utopian idea. We don't live in that sort of society, though. Immigration laws are practical, and frankly, I mean, a lot of y'all might disagree with me, but I don't think that trying to curtail immigration is that bad of a thing. Now, but let me clarify this, though. Before, I believe the first measure that should be taken before this Arizona law is drug legalization. Drug legalization is the key. The reason why there is so much crime coming up from Mexico into the United States is because marijuana is illegal in this country. And there is a high demand for marijuana among a lot of people who would otherwise be law-abiding citizens. The marijuana prohibition is very similar to alcohol prohibition in the 1920s. You have people saying, oh, alcohol's bad, drunkenness is a problem, so let's ban it. And what did we have happen? Al Capone, all these gangsters in Chicago and elsewhere in the United States took up the alcohol trade instead because it was banned, and crime skyrocketed. The same thing is happening now. So before we even pass laws like the one that Arizona has, let's legalize drugs. See how that does. Maybe that would solve the problem, and then we wouldn't have to resort to laws like this one. I don't know. For those in the Obama administration and other politicians who are saying this is unconstitutional, where is their concern for the Constitution when it comes to the Patriot Act or the war on drugs? The war on drugs is unconstitutional. It violates the 10th Amendment. The Constitution has the federal government has no authority under the Constitution to ban drugs. The states have that authority. So, I mean, this concern for a constitution on the part of the Obama administration is pretty silly. And they say it's a draconian law. The draconian laws are the drug laws. Let's legalize marijuana, see what that does to crime. Okay, I guarantee you crime will go down, state revenues will go up. Some economists have predicted upwards of $100 billion in tax revenue a year. I mean, it's enormous. And then if that doesn't work, then we could go on to the laws like the one in Arizona if the citizens demand it. But, I mean, for all the flaws that I see in this Arizona law, I mean, the federal government has, let's face it, has done nothing to protect the people in the southwestern border states. And so I can't really blame Arizonans for wanting to, or for supporting this bill, honestly. I mean, but anyway. Now, my last little bit, of course, you may have heard that today top ratings agency downgraded Spain's credit. And yesterday they downgraded Greece's credit and Portugal's credit. I believe Greece's credit is down to junk right now. So what we're seeing now is what I've been talking about for the last 9 months or so, and what other Ron Paul and all these guys have talked about for a long time. It's all this money printing, all this borrowing, all this spending, all this monetary expansion by central banks, and is really coming to a head here. And Europe is in a huge crisis right now. And it's my belief, honestly, that Western powers are going to face severe economic decline in this decade. It's also my belief that's going to hit Europe before it hits the United States. Remember, Europe adopted all of these policies of spend, borrow, entitlement program after entitlement program before the United States did. And then we mimicked them. But they came first, so it's my belief that they're going to collapse first. Remember, all these entitlement programs, I mean, all they do is just build up the debt, It's not sustainable, and it won't be sustainable in the United States either. So watch out for that. Gold is at a record high, or is nearing a record high right now. Buy your gold now, or silver. Protect your savings. And anyway, that's all I have to say, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.